Hey kiddies, it's back to school. Oh, I'm sorry. Hack to Ghoul.
There you go.
Yeah, get it right. It's Hack to Ghoul season.
Hack to Ghoul.
I think it should be one or the other, like hack back to ghoul or hack to school.
Andy, shut up. We're
It's
doing
too late
both.
now.
I think doubling up on it is a little too much.
Do you know how sometimes you come over and we're going somewhere and you've dressed up and you've got like a brooch here, a thing stuck to your hat, something there, a scarf, funny pants.
Sometimes all at once.
And it's all of it. And I'm like, Andy, do you think this might be too much? And you go, no. So we're keeping Hack to Ghoul and it's perfect and it's fine.
But visually, you can see it, but
Andy,
you can't
you
see
hypocrite.
it. Hack to ghoul.
So oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just, that's the charm of it for me. Actually, is that it sounds like a word in a different language for a second. For a second, and then you kind of put it together. But like, it always catches me off guard. Like that, I'm like hack to ghoul, and then I'm like, oh no, it's hack to ghoul. Okay.
It's also would be. It kind of sounds like Rasa Ghul from Batman.
Yeah, Ra's al Ghul. That's his younger, less nefarious brother. Hack
to Ghoul.
Hack to ghoul.
Last week we did Flatliners,
bitch.
the med school.
Yeah.
We decided that was a high point
What a
and that we
180.
deserved a low point.
Yeah. So this week we're doing the
And
main
we're gonna get to the midpoint.
This is 1981's final exam that we're doing, which apparently had a big influence on Kevin Williamson, from what I've heard.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it because of Radish?
Radish and also, I guess, some other elements in it. I mean, I had a theory that it's because it was made in the Carolinas, and that's where he's from, that maybe that's why he knew this movie, because I had never heard of this movie before.
There's
Have
a
you
good
guys?
reason you didn't hear about it.
Yeah, it's terrible. But have you guys heard of it before doing this?
Well, I might have seen the title. Like I didn't at least recognize the poster, the cover.
Right.
I didn't, but the title was familiar. But it also might have been because we've been talking about it.
There you go.
So for a few days before we watched it. So I don't know if I'd ever heard of it before.
I gotcha. I found it. I found it on a list. What are you gonna do? The
But
roulette
it fits
movie.
the theme
It
of
fits the
college or university.
Kelley is going to be reviewing The Curse of Crom
Yeah.
for roulette, and then next week we're doing Teen Wolf 2.
Yay.
We unilaterally decided. You guys cool with that?
I
already knew that. You said that already.
Yeah.
And the reason why we were like, oh, so prepared is because the fourth movie will be picked by our mailing list subscriber, Mel.
Yes. You have been contacted. Check your email.
So if you subscribe to NOTLP's mailing list, you have a chance every theme we do to pick the final main attraction. You can sign up at notlp.com, scroll down till you see the Dracula stamp. But make sure that you add us to your safe senders so you get the emails. They'll come from crew at notlp.com, and they include...
Yes, go do work.
They have the preview of the coming theme. This is new.
Freddy's excited. He just designed this, and he's so excited about it.
Amy's
So he's
the
going to tell you
MailChimp
because he
crew.
thinks people care.
It's the preview. I like these things.
Well, it's
a
charming
preview of
to
the theme.
think of a newsletter. Nobody does that anymore.
Yeah, a lot of people don't do it.
Yeah.
But you get the preview of the coming theme, the mailing list winner, and then there's a really great picture of Paul in there.
That's also
with the
that is
merch.
worth.
Gee, that was the part I like doing the most.
Yes, Paul modeling with that super sexy fucking patron mug.
That's right.
Kelley,
It is sexy.
good work.
I love it. I love
mugging
looking
with
at
a
it
mug.
in my cabinet.
And you can get the merch from our patron loyalty program, right? Every 3 months, if you give it a certain level, you get goodies like the mug, the sticker, the T-shirt.
You give, you get.
Spaceballs, the lunchbox. Now go to patreon.com/NOTLP. That's really the thing that's keeping this show going time after time.
Just recorded Origins. It was our first Hispanic Heritage Month. That is coming back next month for the 12th year.
What do you think about that?
Yep. This will be back. That's next month. And then Topicana. I have my Topicana question for you
Oh,
guys.
you're teasing your squeeze?
Here it is. Here goes.
This is another bonus you get. We
Yeah.
just did, Amy gave us the Pivo questionnaire from Inside the Actors Studio last week.
We did that as a team.
That's really fun.
It was fun. It was really put me on the spot.
I know, me too.
I think it might be my favorite Topicana that we've done.
Yeah.
You're kind of biased because that's your wife.
It is my wife. My wife. So, but the next Topicana,
If we were on Survivor, we have to split you guys up.
Yeah.
You guys are alliance.
right.
We're showmans.
my question is, and I steal my questions from Reddit. What's the most mind-blowing small world moment you've ever experienced.
Oh, I got one.
So that when we reconvene for that.
All right.
I think we knocked out all the housekeeping stuff. How's everyone's life?
Oh, do we want to talk about the last voyage of the Demeter?
Oh,
yeah.
Now that we all know how to pronounce it.
Oh, yeah.
Because we saw the movie.
It was really good. I was so relieved and pleasantly just elated that this movie that I'd been kind of watching and waiting for a long time finally happened, and it was good. Oh my God, I was so happy. But I did think, like, you have to fuck up pretty bad to fuck up. Like, it's just such an easy premise to work with. You know, it's like a fucking Ravenloft adventure, more or less.
Come to life.
And you could have gone all kinds of ways with it. But I like the ways they went with it. I thought it was great, scary. Dracula's real. He's real Dracula.
He's scary.
Scary.
He's super scary. And this is a shame. And I'm sure part of it has to do with they can't promote anything right now because of the strike. But the movie is doing terribly in the theater.
Yeah.
So if you like adventure-y horror movies that are actually pretty scary, this is like a Ridley Scott or John Carpenter movie, but it's a Dracula movie.
It's on a big sailboat, and I love the creaky boat noises.
Yeah, it's got that epic. You're right. It's got a very like big, epic, open.
Yeah, you don't see movies like this, like period horror movies anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're not usually as good as this. Like, I like, we've gotten a few of them, but like, honestly, this was immersive. I felt like I was on a very scary adventure, as you
I
said,
agree.
Kelley.
That's how I felt too.
It was a very scary adventure indeed.
So it's an NOTLP recommend.
Yes, go see it. I've been, I'm 2 for 2 at the theater lately. Talk to Me, and now The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Talk to Me was great.
So, they're doing right by me, but yeah, this shit's sneaking up on us now.
So
Nobody can promote it.
Amy and I-
It's not like they had any big stars to really.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was part of the problem. Like, there was like very unknowns in this movie.
There would have been something.
the lead was Dr. Dre in Straight Outta Compton. He had a lot of attention around that role, but you're right. Like, for the most part, this is.
I mean,
character
it's
actors.
familiar faces, but like I couldn't name.
Got the
them.
Onion Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Davos.
Davos. Thank you.
That's right. I didn't even clock that.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
fucking Onion Knight, bro.
The captain.
He had his finger bones in a bag.
There's a great parallel between the Demeter and the Autopsy of Jane Doe with like the father-son relationships. Like Brian Cox is in the Autopsy of Jane Doe. He's really, really good. But the dynamic, and Andy, and Amy, you both have seen both of these movies. Kelley, you have not seen.
I've not
Autopsy.
seen.
It's the same director. That's why Freddie's saying this.
Yeah, and it's similar. Like the relationship between the grandfather, who's the captain of the ship, and his grandson. Like, he just has the emotional. He gets it. I don't know what it is that he does. I think a lot of it has to do with the casting, but like, he is great at getting those moments of that sense of being a father or a son, in a really dangerous scenario.
Yeah.
And it really it was like it's like kind of moving, to watch. It's really, really good.
Really good.
And it's probably, I'm sure this will have a long life.
Hope so.
But I don't know if it doesn't start doing better. I doubt that they'll make another one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what they would do. I mean, I guess they would just make Dracula. I would totally love for this team to just make Dracula.
Or any Universal property, like any of the classic monster stuff. I think the aesthetic, there's just a sensibility there that is great. It's like Hammer movies.
Yeah.
He has a knack. Really, really good.
Well, it's a lot better than the other boat, like ocean movie I saw. I saw The Meg 2.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
I heard it was real bad.
It was, oh God.
Yeah.
worse than the first?
I
I
love
like the first one. The first one was
I know
super
it's
fun,
not-
but this one was just stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
Was it like Fast and the Furious 10? Like they're in space?
they weren't even trying in
with the
this
Meg?
one.
Is that the one they went into space? Which one do they go in space?
Were you the one who told me that like Jason Statham has the Meg on the end of a spear or something at one
It's
point?
Fozzie.
It was Fozzie told us that. That's right.
And you hear that and you think it's kind of fun,
Yeah.
but everything building up to it, you can tell it wasn't made for
love.
Yeah, it was made for an audience.
It was made for
yeah.
SEO
Yeah.
purposes.
Seriously, it was like really one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Really? I'm gonna have to. I'll wait till streaming though.
I mean, I won't go that far. Like, there were some good parts, but it was
Worse than The Pest.
It was a slog.
Do you feel like you would rather watch The Pest or The Meg 2 again?
I like The Pest in a campy way. This was not even campy fun.
Yeah.
If you want to cleanse your palate from bad shark stuff, go to Shudder and watch Shark Exploitation. Steven Scarlatta, who did the Dune, Jodorowsky's Dune documentary, did this.
And we know him too.
Yeah, great guy.
Online at least.
Did this. It's literally all shark exploitation stuff. Back to Jaws but it goes deep. It has like marine biologists in it and all kinds of screenwriters and interesting bits. Some stuff from Shark Attack 3 Megalodon. If you remember, that's like something we covered way back, I think in the first year.
Yeah.
And it was had
the classic line.
Is that the
infamous
emo
line.
pussy?
Yeah.
Which it's funny. I thought that was from Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus, but it's from the Megalodon.
Yeah, it's from Shark Attack 3 Megalodon.
Yeah.
Colon.
Colon.
That guy was knighted. Did you know that?
The Eat Your Pussy guy?
John
Barrowman?
Barrowman. He's a member of the Royal Order. The one who says, "I'm also kind of wired. How about I take you home and eat your pussy?"
Yeah.
Well, that apparently was an improv.
And they left it.
It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
It's iconic.
Now, yeah.
It's classic. Fucking celebrate it, no matter how crass it is.
It's really the only thing that the movie is notable for.
I would
Yeah.
love to be known, to go to my grave, and that's the only thing anybody knows about me is I said that funny ass line about eating pussy on a movie. That would be great. I'd put it on my
It'd be like a weird,
tombstone.
Ed Wood, Bela Lugosi type of moment.
Well.
Where you're like morphine, codeine chaser, take you home, eat your pussy, Eddie. Eddie, let me take you home and eat your pussy, Eddie.
So before this,
The last thing I'm known for.
So before this, we were talking about hair.
Not the musical.
No, just
Long, beautiful hair.
bad men's hair from the past.
Oh, that hair. The hair on top of your head. Not
No,
the
in Origins, we did talk about pubic hair.
We're just trying to keep things
I
balanced.
just wanted
Yes.
to check
This is
which
head
head
hair.
we're talking about.
No, we're
We
talking
did the
about heads.
downstairs in the Origins. Now we got to move upstairs.
Upstairs.
Yeah.
What were you? I have forgotten what we were talking about exactly. The
I was
hair.
talking about General Hospital.
I was talking about
Luke and Laura.
The
Luke's
80s
hair.
Instagram keeps putting up the Luke and Laura picture, and that guy's hair is just it's an abomination. And
Well, you said it made you feel weird.
It does. I don't like it.
It
It
was
makes-
like disturbing or
it's
something.
just, I don't know, maybe it reminds me of somebody from my
Makes your
past or something. I don't
Skin
know,
feel
but
tight.
it makes me just go, "Ugh."
Is that your paralysis demon?
That's my problem.
You wake up with Luke on your chest
It's
from
just
General
Luke.
Hospital.
I want to say, and especially paired with
Yeah.
his weird sort of puppety face. Like he's got like these weird, they're like soft eyes, but they're also like, I'm gonna fuck your holes.
Ooh.
Wasn't the storyline with Luke and Laura
Yeah, I
that
think he
he
raped
raped her and then they got married and it was a beautiful love story? Because things were just not right back then.
So there's that on top of it, but
Yeah.
even separate from that
the hair.
problematic, because I didn't watch that show, but I did know about that. His face paired with his hair is not okay.
Not a good hair pair.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm head shaming, hair shaming, body shaming.
There's going to be more hair shaming in this episode when we get to the
because
main attraction.
what we're shaming is style.
It's the style.
And it's an old style and we're making fun of it.
Except for the guy in the movie this
We're
week
gonna
who
talk-
might have an extended brain.
We're going to talk, when we get to final exam, we're going to talk about that motherfucker's hair because I can't handle it. I don't know if there's a head shape issue.
Maybe he's a Lego person, and they just said
I think he's a
it on
cone
there.
But Lego people have flat heads. This guy had like a.
Yeah.
It was
That's
a-
true.
Came to a point like a.
It wasn't like cone heads because it was like a shark fin almost.
Yeah.
'Cause it came to like
Because it was rounded. It
was
wasn't
round-
pointed.
It was definitely a weird shape.
It was like a stunted cone head.
you
Or
know,
like Egghead from Batman, the old Vincent Price
Well, if a
character,
cone
but
head-
with a lot of feathered hair on
If
it.
a cone
Yeah.
head got dropped on his head as a baby,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it kind of like flattened out a little bit.
That would be
this
that.
man's hair and this was a truly I do believe this was a fault of whoever cut this man's hair. Also, he has crazy hair. You got to cut it different.
It was the trend back then, too.
was-
This style.
It was parted all the way down Because like we have
Down
parted
the
hair,
back.
it's just like in the front, the bangs part. But this was parted all the way from his forehead down to the back of his neck.
Yeah.
And then it was feathered to within an inch of his life.
It's just like, what were we thinking? Freddie and I watched this fantastic movie called The Rift. He's gonna try to get that onto the show. He's gonna think of a theme. Don't worry.
We had a double feature last night with
The
The
Rift.
Rift and The Video Dead.
Both feature some atrocious hair, just bad men's hair. But like in The Rift, he's supposed to be like Mel Gibson from the 80s with that blown out, long. He's wearing a muscle tee.
Yeah.
But what it looks like is that he took the rollers out and then didn't do anything.
It didn't come it
else.
out. It was all tight curls still.
It was so bad.
Have you guys seen this movie at all?
I don't think so.
It's really fucking great.
Well, what's the plot? Give it.
Who's in the Rift?
Let's try to find a
Arlie
a theme
Ermey.
Arlie
to try
Ermey.
to wrap it around.
The thing would be,
Ray-wise.
I say hidden gems would be the thing because I'd never heard of it.
Okay,
That's
it is not
too broad.
when you say gem, people are thinking it's going to be like
All right, we don't have to worry
a
about that.
truly good movie.
Well, just give us the plot. We'll work on this later.
It's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, essentially, but it's like it was made in 1990.
Sequest, but with
It has models and
monsters.
puppets, but it has like a 90s cast and 90s sensibilities as far as that storytelling and the modern setting. But the minute you cut to underwater action, it's a fucking model of a submarine. It's models. It's like not stop motion, but they have like puppets and stuff.
Yeah.
It's great.
the acting is terrible except for Ray Wise and Arlie Ermey. Everybody
The
else is
lady
terrible.
was good.
Yeah,
The
so
movie
it
cost $5 to
so it
make.
has people in it.
There
Yeah.
are people.
Arlie Ermey's the captain of the ship, which is great. He's great.
Anyway, I'm just thinking about bad hair. What were we doing? What was happening? Why? And trends are cyclical, but I don't feel like this hair is ever coming back.
Well, I think at one point we were all victims of bad hair, right?
Oh, yeah. We were talking about perms before we started recording.
Which
and I
is
was like,
how we got onto Luke.
Yeah, I have had many perms, and it was bad.
I had a 5-inch flat top, like Kid and Play. I'm sorry for the hole in the ozone layer. That was me.
You and your Breck
I
hairspray.
don't think I've seen that particular haircut, Andy. We're gonna have to.
It was
find
like
you.
like my sophomore year. Like if you look at the.
I looked in the yearbook.
We'll
I've
put
seen
the
it.
yearbook,
Oh wait,
yeah.
now I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see the square now.
Circle gets the square.
I'm filling it in
I
my
was
imagination.
I was like a Chinese Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Anything else for the top?
I just, don't have bad hair.
Okay,
That's all
That's
she
it.
asks.
I'll do my best.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time for straight to video Russian roulette.
There's hair in this movie too.
Oh,
Yeah?
Man hair, and it was bad, but like it didn't detract from anything. And it was like I think it was on trend a little bit. These are young folk. It's very hipstery hair on a young fella who's maybe slightly too old to play a teenager because he might even be a teenager, but he's very good.
In
But
spite of the hair.
but that
spite of his
hair is goofy.
Yeah.
And I
have to look
can't
'em up.
I can't even describe it.
Okay.
It's not indescribable. I just don't have a good way of describing it, and I don't want to think about it.
Indescribable.
I can't put words to this hair.
Thank you for assuring me that it's not like something that
It's-
defies the laws of physics and the world as we know it.
It's like this great evil that you can't even put words to.
It's not Eldritch.
Is there a little Cthulhu on his head?
It's not Eldritch. No. But
Okay.
speaking of which, and that's a good segue into the Curse of Crom because the main character's name is Mary Eldritch, and they sneak a few little things like that in here. She's going to Dunwich Street. She might even live on
Oh,
Dunwich
shit.
Street.
Is that
Okay.
him in the background?
Freddie,
He has hair
You're,
like
you're asking the wrong
this is an
person.
audio podcast.
Well, I was showing Kelly if I wanted to confirm.
doesn't matter.
Because that looks like the haircut from Stranger Things. That
Yeah.
What was?
But
his
it's out of
name?
control, Steve. But it's
Steve.
it's even more out of control.
Oh, yeah, that's upsetting. I don't
And
like
it bounces around like anyway.
Is it set in the 80s or is it set in
No,
the current
this is
times?
now. This current time. It doesn't really look 80s on him. They look like hipster. He looks like a hipster teen.
Yeah.
hipster teen. They're actually really, all the teens are great. The lead who plays Mary Eldritch might be a teen for real. She was very convincing in a very easygoing way. So anyway, I liked Curse of Crom.
Oh, good.
And I'm not going to give away a lot. And part of the reason I liked it was because it was very, very obviously super low budget. I watched it on Tubi. You can also see it on Freevee. So one of the E's that shows ads, E's with ads.
It's on Peacock too if you don't want ads.
Oh, it is on Peacock. It is.
Well, shit.
Did you have an option to watch it on Peacock?
I watched it on Tubi. It did. I mean, I didn't go. Here's what happens. The Amazon Fire.
It decides.
Occasionally will tell you that something is playing somewhere else.
It happens to us too.
I feel like they're in collusion to get us to like watch ads or spend money.
Super occasionally, but mostly it only shows you Prime, and you can either rent it or if it's on Prime, lucky you. So this only showed me Freevee and Tubi. That's if it's not on Amazon, they'll show you where it is.
Right.
And it didn't show me Peacock. Didn't give me Peacock. It gave me no Peacock.
I'm so interested in this story. We should do more investigating.
Do you want to know what other apps it didn't tell me? So anyway,
I'm so sorry that time was stolen from you.
So Tubi, anyway, you could tell this was a very low budget, I think, and there was so much heart to it. And like sometimes, you say that and you're like, oh, they had a lot of heart, and it just wasn't that. But not only did this have a lot of heart and chutzpah, it had good things. Like the acting for me was surprisingly very good. Like I said, very casual. The dialogue was clearly well crafted. They didn't sound like fake teenagers. And like I said, they might be teenagers. I don't know.
The one was 25. The female lead.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
she's 6 years past
She was born in '98. If I did the math right.
She was the teeniest of all.
The most teeny.
It's amazing.
She was a little itty bitty.
Yeah, good for her.
Tanner Gilman,
Talented.
E of the Hair.
Yeah.
Born March 1st. No year provided.
Tanner.
I feel like he's riding it out. He's like probably 40.
Yeah. Well, he did a great teen, but
Yeah.
not as good as the other lady. So bravo to the whole cast. My goodness. No one was an actual teen. Amazing. So it's gone up in my estimation.
Wow.
The acting was really good. The scripting, the screenplay was good. They built a little family kind of mystery. It felt very much. Elise pointed this out, and I agree. It felt very much like sort of Goosebumpsy.
Oh.
There was that they did say the word shit at one point, so it's not.
Was it at the very end of the movie?
It was.
Somebody was like, "Get a little shit on your face right there." And then the credits rolled.
That's what it was, because someone had somehow gotten it on their face and they didn't know how. But
That's horrific. I don't get the idea of shit on your face.
very. You've got shit on
That
your
was South
head.
Park, right?
Yeah, it was when they were waiting for the first time someone was going to say shit on broadcast TV.
Wasn't it NYPD Blue?
Yeah. And with the twist was it was like
Yeah.
at the end of the episode, it's like, oh, Sipowicz, you got a little shit in your mustache.
But basically the story is that there is this demon. It's not really spoiling anything. I mean, it's not a big surprise. It's not like you're like, is this a slasher? Is this a ghost movie? Is this a Bigfoot? I don't know.
I mean, the full title is Curse of Crom, The Legend of Halloween.
Yep.
So
It's
know
all
you're
about
getting something.
Halloween-y. There's a demon that is supposed to be appeased, and one night it is not, because Mary Eldritch, the 25-year-old teen, fucks it up out of spite. She doesn't realize what she's doing. She doesn't know. And it unleashes Kombrinck. And then they have to go through all of this stuff. They built good tension. There were like some scary moments. Really great humor, because like it was very, very goosebumpsy, because it was really funny never really felt too snarky. Like it would never cross. Like everybody, like that guy, hair guy, very amiable the whole time, very likable. Everyone was very likable. And the one guy, I made fun of his first line reading a little bit, and I didn't think he was going to be very good. And then he maybe became my favorite character.
Oh, I love when that happens.
So I recommend this. I'm going to have to go look up all their like all their deets later, because I would like to keep an eye on this filmmaking group.
Rob York is the writer-director, but it is from a story by someone named R.H. Grimley.
Yeah.
Not a pen name.
Well, what's interesting is the story itself is maybe the weakest. Like
Right.
the story is probably the weakest part of the movie, and that's not.
Take that, Grimley.
I'm not trying to say. I mean, it's a fine story. I mean, it's totally a serviceable supernatural story, but the characters really and sort of everything else they bring to it elevate what could have been just a very. It was good.
Yeah,
it felt good.
I'm kind of attracted to the poster. Is that okay to say?
It's got a great font, and
it's
the
great font. I
are
said
bright
that.
green.
Yeah. I said, they used
purples.
Great font use in the beginning credits. They
Halloween
give it like an
colors.
80s feel in the credits. It's not set in the 80s. It's
Right.
not
Just an aesthetic.
and it's not even really through the whole movie. It's really just sort of opening credits are supposed to kind of give you that nostalgic feel, and then it's just. It feels it's just a very naturalistic movie, actually.
So it's kind of like Monster Squad or a Goonies type thing, where the kids are the
the teenagers are the protagonists. Yeah,
and it's not just this poster, but if you go to IMDb and look at the posters for this movie, there's other great, like whoever did the designs for them did a great job.
Looks like a book cover from the 80s.
Oh, fun!
Really cool.
So definitely a recommend for me. Thanks for choosing this one.
Oh, you are welcome. I hope I get to say that. Someone says that to me again as I vamp so I can find the movie. Oh, here it is. Thanks, Kelley.
You're very welcome.
The movie for next week is on Shudder. It's called The Communion Girl.
The Communion Girl.
The ghost of a girl dressed for her first communion is ready to shed blood and take revenge on anyone unlucky enough to cross her path.
Like most ghosts that you meet.
I mean...
They so mad all the time.
So yeah, that's that.
There you
That's
go.
it? All right. And it's called Communion Girl?
Mm-hmm. Not Cabin Girl. That's our friend John's movie. That's on Tubi.
Let's see. One more. Oh, whew.
Oh, it's Andy.
Communion Girl.
All right. Get ready to take communion, girl.
It was nearly me.
It was a squeaker.
Flash before my eyes.
I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but this doesn't sound good to me.
Actually, all the reviews on
Does it?
Shudder were
Okay.
really positive. They went from this was actually really good to like this was okay.
good.
It had some good moments, so it's in there.
I tend to trust the online discourse, like
the Shudder
rotten-
people for
like,
sure.
like the 90% like this. I think that's a pretty good metric.
I feel like I've gone hard against the Shudder people before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I have incredibly high standards.
Oh my
It
god.
really does. Only the best.
Communion Girl.
Turn out lights, it's the main attraction.
Okay, better.
Better. I try to spice it up
Like
a
it.
little bit. Just a little bit.
Might be a little too long after you sing Main Attraction.
Really, yeah. Back to the drawing board.
We're working on it.
I like this real-time evolution
Yeah.
of the song.
It's kind of fun every week to try to do something to it.
I like it.
It's like one of those dump cakes, not dump cake, a progressive cake where you pass the ingredient jar around the neighborhood.
That's the only kind of cake I eat.
Yeah,
Progressive.
progressive cakes.
Is this real?
You've never heard of this?
No.
Where people add, it used to be a thing. It was like you'd add ingredients to this batch of cake fixings, and then the last person's supposed to bake it.
What if
I did not know that. I was making like a gentle political
No,
joke.
I got what
Yeah.
Kelley was doing. I
Oh,
didn't
good.
understand.
I think it's called a progressive cake.
All right.
So
I don't know. It's called something like
So
that.
somebody could really fuck you over by putting like, here's some spam or something.
Yeah,
Right.
but generally you do this with people who aren't
I
psycho.
added cinnamon. Oh no, it's turmeric. You know.
That time I put
That time you did
cumin
that.
in our
Cumin.
French toast.
That's doo-doo, baby.
So
make a kick out of that.
final exam.
Yeah.
What if you know?
I don't
Okay.
know.
Well, I'll tell
This
you.
was a conundrum.
It's a slasher without literally
With-
zero substance.
Last thing, and like,
Well, the
when
kill
he's-
didn't happen until like maybe 50 minutes in the movie.
Yeah.
when he says that, listeners and patrons are like, that's not a joke.
Yeah.
Like you take all of the substance, and there is like barely. I would say there's still almost none in Friday the 13th. Any one of them. Just
Yeah.
pick any one of them. First, last, any of them.
Barely none, but
Take
more
that.
than one
Take that and then
amount.
get rid of it
Yeah.
entirely. And anything else that you could actually point out in those that, you know, are artful, it's gone. This
gone.
At the end of this, I said was not a movie. I thought it was gonna be maybe. And it wasn't. The fucking killer, what?
Who is that?
It's just some chubby dude.
No
That
explanation.
lurks. He's
Nothing.
a lurker.
He just lurks. He's not scary. He just looks like he looks like if you kicked him in the stomach, he'd fall down. You could get away very easily.
I mean, nobody even knows he's there, so it's not like they're even talking about the legend of the guy.
You don't know who it is. You never find out. There's no mystery.
Nobody cares about it till they get murdered.
What was that character on Head of the Class that he looked like?
Oh,
Do you remember his name?
big kid. What was his name? Dennis?
Dennis. Yes, Dennis. He looks like Dennis from Head of the Class, but just Dennis. So you're like, oh, hey, Dennis, and he kills you,
Somehow,
but nobody knows why.
Halloween, which this movie bites on that soundtrack pretty hard.
Too hard.
Like Michael Myers does nothing but stalk.
Well, in this movie,
And somehow that's personality, because I watched this dude in
Well,
Final Exam and I'm like, that's what
there's-
no personality
there's
looks
tension
like.
that's built in Halloween, but there's no stalking in this. All the victims go to the guy.
Yeah, and he just sort of walks up on him. And Halloween, it's even if you took out the built just tension, like Michael Myers has some kind of backstory
Legend, something around them.
And
something to
a
explain.
name.
And he looks so memorable. He's just not some dude.
Yeah.
So what they've given us is some dude that you never are introduced to, has no backstory,
And
is just a killer.
I know there's somebody
I
that's
guess.
like, that sounds awesome. That sounds really scary. It's like it could be anybody. No, not in a it could be anybody way, because they never.
This is a movie,
There's no
though.
mystery. Like it couldn't be
They
anybody.
try to build something up because of there's a town over that Radish was talking about, where there was
Those
like,
two teens
yeah.
had been murdered.
Yeah, but
And
it's such
or,
a
well,
throwaway
they're-
I know,
moment.
but I think that's where they try to build a story up,
Oh.
but it became like a Revenge of the Nerds or like a college sex romp type movie.
With no sex.
With no sex
Yeah.
and not really even the nerd. Like, listen, I don't want to see anyone bullied, but it was the gentlest
Yes.
nerd bullying.
Except for the mass shooting.
Man.
Well, but yeah, for a second, this movie seemed like it was going to be amazing.
I was not
Yeah.
expecting that at all.
All right, you guys.
It came out of nowhere.
It startled
it's
me.
a fucking college comedy. It's fucking Animal House, and all of a sudden, a van screams up into like the little square in front of the college buildings,
quad.
the quad, and a bunch of masked men get out and start shooting people, and,
Just mowing people down.
like automatic weapons, and they're just. People are falling with blood on them, and you're like, "What in the absolute fuck is going on?"
I thought
right
it was a
now?
dream sequence.
Super startling.
For a second, I was like, "Oh, this is a dream,"
What-
and
It's
then
a
it wasn't.
fucking-
And I was like, "What?"
It was real, but it was a prank.
Yeah.
It was a
So
real
another
prank.
dude could distract the teacher so he could cheat.
To get an 82, not even an A.
He wrote his own grade on there and then put it back in the bottom of the pack.
Like, that's how
Okay, and he's
bucolic life was back then. That seemed like a good idea for a prank.
and he's assuming that the person like watching the test is going to be distracted by this. Mm-hmm. Like that girl could have easily just hidden in the room and left the test, like watched over them, and he's assuming that nobody's gonna notice him just slip in. Everybody's just watching him do it too.
So, real quick.
And
It's very
82.
upsetting.
If I was gonna put a mass shooting prank to get a passing grade,
Yeah.
I'd get better than 82.
Well, it's got to look real.
Yeah, he didn't want to like draw any undue attention to it. But I just want to run down these characters real quick. And these actors
I
mostly
care not about any of them.
didn't work again. But Courtney is our final girl
Is
character.
she, though?
Is she? Well, that's the thing too. I was like, there's no main character
There
in
was
this
like
movie.
3
Yeah.
main girls, and even for slashers, you need somebody that you like. Everybody in this movie, except for Radish, maybe.
Radish I liked.
Everybody else was like a jerk.
Lame.
And even he was like, he definitely had the most of a character. But again,
Yes.
even he was sort of like, what
was his point
What's your
as a
deal?
character?
Do you like or do you not like? I don't
He
understand.
had a
what's
pocket
happening.
protector.
It was like a will they, won't they type thing.
Kind of.
Yeah, but I
But it
think
was-
the
he was
character Red
there-
is obviously gay to me.
Well, me too.
He's just there to be the nerd.
Yeah.
Because they have the jocks, and this is a college movie, so then you have to have a nerd.
Yeah. No,
That's
totally.
it. That's simply it.
It's one of several roles that I wish Buster Bluth, Tony Hale.
They should remake it.
It's one of those roles where
Tony Hale.
I just want to deep fake him into it,
Oh.
and then the movie's better. But he has to redo all the dialogue in ADR.
90% of this movie was just these bitches and these dudes just talking about their lives.
Yeah.
That was like really
And not in a real, like, nothing about it.
was
no
interesting.
one was likable. No one was interesting.
None of them.
The sheriff was a little interesting in that, like,
Well-
he thought he was in a better movie and was really going for
Well,
it.
that's true. And I will say this. This is a town. You don't call 911. You just call the sheriff directly.
Yeah.
Like, you just call his desk.
And he's friends with the weird old security guard guy. They're fishing buddies. Who runs the
Is that the coach?
Well, no, the coach is a whole nother character. You have the old man who's the campus security
Oh,
guard.
the campus security guard.
Then
right,
you
right,
have
right.
the sheriff.
Yeah.
Right.
And
You're
then
right.
the coach. They're the holy trinity of good old boys.
Yeah.
That are somehow plopped into this movie. You would think as like they could have been red herrings, but you've seen the killer in the first act.
Yeah.
So you know it's not them.
Yeah.
It's really inept.
And
I did like Wildman as a character. He was he was invested as an actor because he
Yeah.
was going for
he
it.
did
was
go
Bluto.
for it. He really did go for it.
Well, everybody was wearing clothes that were their character. That was the character development to begin with. So everybody was dressed like who they were. Nerd Boy had a pocket protector. Wildman's
he carried a lot of books,
jersey,
too.
Yeah. Wildman's jersey
It
said
said
Wildman.
Wildman.
So you're like, okay, I get him.
He's a
already.
wild man.
The dude who had a weird shaped haircut or head,
He wore polo shirts.
A little both.
he was wearing brown because he's shit. And then
He was the
you got this
He's like the
preppy boy.
yeah.
you got the slutty one who's fucking her professor, and I'm not slut shaming. I'm just saying she's.
Oh
the
my
slutty
god!
one.
And he has
He was so gross.
And I was like him.
That's what I
Him.
thought too.
the best
him.
part. If you really pay attention to this movie, when there's a scene later she shares the dorm room with the final girl. They pan across the room, and you see on the nightstand, there's a picture of the professor. And like
See,
an
that's
8x10 in
the
a
weird
frame.
thing. It's like you get the idea that she's fucking him for the grades, but she really liked this guy.
Yeah, she's in love with him.
It's weird.
like Amy said, I don't want to like shame anybody who they like, but this guy.
Well, I do want to shame you. Don't fuck married men that you know are married if you can help it. That's just like it's not cool. And I think that was the implication. This is the girl that has no morals. She's the one who's going to wear the short shorts and her booty cheeks will be out, and like
But
that's the
she's
closest
not-
we got to any like sex.
She's not the only one that the professor's like. He makes a comment about all the young
Yeah, he gets a lot of young
students.
tail.
Yeah. So it's not like a real relationship, I think, for the professor. Although, and that's kind of the funny thing, because when they made this movie, like the guys who made it, the director, he was like, I want to make a movie. It really focuses more on the real characters, so that I guess when the killing happens, you really care that they're being slaughtered. And you're like, no, man,
Not this way.
it didn't turn out. But
This is the way.
and Radish is the one, this character we were talking about earlier, Radish is the one who, rumor has it, Randy, what was his last name in
From
Scream?
Scream Meeks.
Meeks. Randy Meeks was supposed to be, I'm putting air quotes, based on Radish.
I can see the seeds of what would become Scream.
Radish seeds?
Yes. And I'm so glad that Kevin Williamson recognized the flaws in this.
And there, to support the theory too, they mentioned this movie in Scream 2.
Is it
Randy
like
does.
during the film
classroom?
studies class?
I don't know. I don't remember. I just had looked it up because I was trying to figure out if there was any merit to it because I only saw it in the article I read.
Even so, it's kind of a stretch.
Yeah.
That this character was
Yeah.
was based on this guy. I kind of see it, but I don't see it at the same time.
Well, I definitely feel
Okay.
like there's a lot. I do feel like there are other characters that came along that could I feel like that the horror movie nerd character. I'm not saying it's not that. Obviously the trivia is there. I do feel like it there's other characters that could be responsible for Randy Meeks.
Yeah. No telling. Only Kevin Williamson knows for sure, Andy.
Let's get him on the phone.
That's
Anybody
fun.
got his number?
We know people, right?
Can we text him?
I'm sure we could track him down.
Sir,
Find
quick
out
question.
a real answer. I
And
mean,
that
there's a lot to support the theory between them mentioning it in Scream 2, him being from North Carolina, this movie being like a local thing with a lot of local people.
He had a crush
involved.
on the main girl.
You mean Radish?
Yeah.
It was hard to read that. It seemed like that's what they wanted you to think,
That is what they wanted you to think.
but that's not what the actor I think was delivering. It was more like best friend energy for me.
Well, there's that scene where he says something, like there's that scene where he almost asks her out, or like there's like one line where it's like, that's where I was confused. It's like, oh, I thought this dude was gay.
Yeah.
I didn't read him that way, but I don't know how good my assessment is.
In 81, the chances of them writing.
Well, I didn't think he was written
character-
gay. I just thought the
Right.
actor was gay.
Well, I think
And
the
then
actor was
just-
playing him that way on purpose. I thought.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, he may also be. He just comes off as a gay character to me.
There's
I guess
a fine
is what I'm
line
saying.
between nerd and gay.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah. And maybe it could have had some real depth if he just told her he was gay in that scene. Then you would have had like a whole progressive, way ahead of its time moment. Instead, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Not even asking her out.
No.
Neither way went.
Nothing happened.
They safely stayed right down the middle, and then they killed him.
One scene I kind of did think was funny because it went hard was one of the girls. She got pinned by her boyfriend, and he's a pledge to the frat. So somehow that was an affront to them that he pinned his girlfriend during his pledging time.
By which she means, in case you don't know that term, pin, like he didn't hold her against the ground. He gave her his pledge pin.
Literally.
And when that happens, it's like a thing in these goofy college things, and then the frat brothers get mad and they do something.
Yeah,
to
I
you.
guess like in Scream 2, they had a similar scene. With
Yeah, that
with
they
Jerry
did.
O'Connell.
Yeah.
That's right. They did the
did.
exact same thing. Oh,
Maybe there's more to it than that, Andy.
point Freddy.
That's not my theory, though.
Point theory.
Whoever I
Point
I
internet
wish I could give you
stranger.
credit, but I lost the link.
And I would say when they dump that ice down his underwear,
That's
it's like,
what I wanted to
that's
talk about.
dangerous.
They put this. They
I would not like that.
tie him to a tree, and he's just in his underwear, and then they throw things at him. But one thing they do is put ice down his underwear, and I feel like that's bad for your wee wee.
Yeah, it's no good. I mean, it'll melt. It's not dry ice.
But
You'll
like,
survive
remember-
it.
for that long,
Prince Harry's wiener almost fell off.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, Prince Harry was in a very
His
cold
Todger.
environment.
Yes, Todger.
Remember
don't
the-
worry.
His frozen Todger.
His mother's old face cream made him remember as he was smearing it on his Todger to prevent the frostbite. What was
It
happening?
was to treat the frostbite, right?
Treat the frostbite.
We're talking about Prince Harry's dick right
so
now.
this dude could just go get some of that face
Yeah.
cream, but that sounds awful. Did that make you cringe? I cringed on behalf of your
literally,
penises.
During this winter, we had like negative temperatures.
Yeah.
And I went shoveling, and I didn't put any underwear on because I thought my body heat would like just warm me up, but I came in with a frozen penis.
Oh God!
It hurt.
Damn. That sounds
How's
awful.
it doing now?
It's fine now. It chipped off. Actually,
It fell off.
But like when
Almost
it's,
thawed.
Considering going to the
Almost
doctor?
defrosted.
when it's defrosting, that's when it hurts because the blood is rushing back into your.
It's in a
Yeah,
shoebox
think
with
about what
his
happens to
baby
your
teeth.
hands when you get in after the cold.
So when I saw this scene, I was like, "No, his penis."
Because you know,
Oh,
you're a
jeez.
poor Todger.
definitely doesn't look comfortable with
No.
Did
it.
you get some face cream?
In my mom's face cream.
Your mom's face.
Yeah.
Every college
Feel more
movie-
connected now?
it makes me wonder why anyone would ever pledge a fraternity.
I have no idea why
Freddie
this
watched
still
that
exists.
documentary.
Yeah,
on,
Alabama Rush or Alabama
So
Rush.
I think he
whatever.
has an idea of why people rush, right?
Well, it's social
Networking.
currency.
Yeah.
Like the people who are part of these Greek organizations get better jobs, and they have kind of this. It's like organized crime.
Sure, I get
It's
it.
a short answer. I think it's fucking organized crime.
I guess I just like, you must be one of those kids that's very motivated to network. Like, I feel like it's only a certain kind of, but then you always get the stragglers who think it's just about making friends.
Hey, if you're interested in it, though, watch out that. What was it called? Alabama Rush or something?
why did I mean? I
There's a
didn't watch
documentary about the sorority in Alabama where just the process of Greek life and how that's actually what made me think we should do this theme.
Oh, okay.
Was I was watching that documentary. I was like, oh, we should do horror
Because
movies set
you
in
were
college.
so bummed that there's only one premium rush.
Yeah.
And so you found this and it made you feel a little closer.
a little closer.
Hey, I had suggested Dead Man on Campus, and Freddie poo-pooed that.
DMOC?
No, I
We
didn't.
could have watched that.
I make it
instead
still
of this.
take it still.
I never
You
poo-pooed.
listening, Mel?
Why do I get blamed for things?
Because I like to.
Remember when he's tied to the tree and he has ice in his underwear? We're talking about
Felt
that
so
guy
bad
again.
for him.
Yeah.
And then the old campus security guard comes up and they have a heart to heart, and you think they're having this. Finally, there's like a real moment happening in this movie, and then the old guy offers him a nip of his whiskey from his flask, and instead he just pours it down his shorts, laughs at him, and walks away.
Yeah.
He's being bullied left and right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
If anything, like, cut his poor little wiener, and then he poured that alcohol in there.
But
Would it
the-
melt the ice?
I think it would have melted by that point because at this
You're
point
right.
it was night.
It had been a while. But it's chilly
you really
out.
hung up on this ice in the underwear thing.
I feel like they might ruin his fucking dick.
Do you want
I
to check
think
on
it would
the
have to.
actor?
I mean, you'd have to like leave a
right.
a rock of ice.
you would have to
Right.
replenish it,
like
because
you'd
it
have
would
to
melt.
continuously. Yeah.
I need to stop carsing it and thinking about it. I don't know why I am.
It's
but
There's
it's
a
not,
dick
it's certainly
involved.
not good.
I worry about it.
Amy's hung up on the
I'll grant
penis.
you that. It's not,
Not
good.
good. Notice we have not brought up any of the kills, really.
Well, they
Does
just
anybody
haven't
even
started
remember?
yet.
Well, that's
Were-
the thing, you
Was
watched-
anyone killed in this
Yeah.
movie?
The kills start here.
No, here's the thing: the way they found the bodies was more interesting than the actual kills.
Yeah, and
Remember-
sometimes you didn't even see it.
Remember,
Yeah.
Wild Man was stuffed upside down in the locker for some reason.
That was really funny.
How would he fit in there?
No, it was kind of comical the way kind of he was smashed in there upside down.
That actor, they choked him out.
Did they?
Yeah, by accident. The guy who plays the killer is a stuntman, and like that whole scene where he catches the arrow and all that stuff, he really did all
Imagine
that.
if he died for this.
They really
movie.
built the movie around this stunt guy, and that's why I guess they felt like we don't have to do anything else with this killer character because he can do a couple of
He can
interesting
catch an
things.
arrow.
Yeah. So he strangles Wildman with the cables from the workout equipment in the gym, and that stuntman choked that actor unconscious. And I don't know if you see any of that in the movie or not, but it happened.
Oh.
And then he stuffed him in a fucking locker upside down, and it was hilarious.
And they found Radish smashed through a door with his head
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
put like smashed through the wood that came up. That was kind of interesting.
It was sad.
Yeah.
That was a kind of a
Radish
sad
was
moment.
the only good character that I cared anything about.
He was the only character.
Yeah. You could say that the college campus.
It was a pretty campus.
It was pretty.
You could also say the ineptitude of the filmmakers is really
Well,
a main character in and
okay,
of itself.
you bring up ineptitude. There was a scene where this girl brings her tray to the dumbwaiter, and we follow the tray's journey to where they wash the dishes,
Yeah, you think you're going to get a clue about something.
and then we see the guy take the trash out, and then
you think you're going to get a clue about something.
That guy's name, Amy. First, we looked at that guy,
it's Gene
Andy.
Poole.
His name's Gene
Gene
Poole.
Gene Poole. But no, please continue then. Well, let's get to the clue.
And then he takes the trash
Yeah.
out.
and then he just bumps into the character, and that's the end of that scine.
No clue. It's just for no reason. It's like someone watched Halloween, but didn't understand it. And was just like, oh, you do shots, like things go. Let's think about this. We could set the camera on the dumbwaiter and lower it down, and you'll see it go down the dumbwaiter and then out the back. And then it'll just be garbage.
I was so fascinated about the system, like the dumbwaiter,
Yeah.
and it going on a conveyor belt,
Yeah.
and then it passed the guys taking the trash out, and it was so efficient.
Yeah.
It was really neat.
Well, like the UC,
That was your favorite part?
You see the hospital has the cafeteria, and they have like a conveyor belt system for trays. So you could go down there and watch it right now.
Well, what I kept saying too was like they must have someone knew somebody and they had use of this campus over summer break.
Isothermal Community College.
That's the name
Yeah,
of it.
and it's like the dean from Community made this deal, and they wanted to show off as much. If they were like, look, we got this place for 6 days. Get as much of it on camera as you can, so this looks like a movie.
B-roll.
Do you think their mascot's a sleeping bag or something? Like, what is the mascot for Isothermal Community College? Do they have one?
A pill bottle.
An unmasked killer?
Well, now I got to look it up. So talk amongst
They
yourselves.
probably don't have one, but yeah, let me know. So you get the killing starts after Joe Schmo's been tied to the tree and his wiener's been frozen. He's the first one to buy it, if I remember right. And then you build through, like you were saying, Radish and everybody, and you get to the final girl and this big confrontation moment. The sheriff and the coach have returned to campus to meet up with, I think, the old security guard. I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but they're supposed to go hunting together, bow hunting. So he has his bow and arrow with him, and this is where the excitement starts. There's a moment he shoots an arrow at him.
Yeah.
He catches out of the air, and then he shoots more arrows at him, and he kills him. And it's like the end of Halloween where Michael Myers gets shot 5 times by Dr. Loomis.
Yeah.
And goes out the window, but this director said, I'm going to shoot him with arrows, and he's going to fall 8 stories instead of 3 stories. Take that, John Carpenter.
Because more is better.
And it worked. And it became the touchstone that it became. And that's history, as they say.
We wouldn't have Scream without this movie.
Yeah.
We might not.
In a way, I guess that is sort of true.
Yeah. In the context of important horror historical pieces, maybe.
I guess that's the only notable thing about this movie then.
Yeah.
The hair, I guess, too.
Just FYI, Isothermal Community College is in Spindale, North Carolina. It's part of the North Carolina Community College system. Named after its location in the Thermal Belt, an area in the foothills of western North Carolina with significantly milder temperatures than its immediate neighboring area.
Do you ever think that when people are naming things, they ever stop and go, you know what? I know that's where we are. And I know that we're trying to be consistent. I get it. But like, it just doesn't roll off the tongue. Isothermal. It doesn't sound like it sounds like you're making isothermals, which we don't even know what that is. Let's call it a different name. Let's call it Forest College, because there's a forest here. Great name. Easy peasy. Do you ever think that happens?
How about Western North Carolina Community College?
Who insisted on isothermal? It's a consistency thing.
Yeah. It's weird. It's a weird name.
It was an officious person.
We have said to ourselves when we are going back and doing origins where we listen to our old episodes from years ago, like, we're much nicer now.
Yeah.
We shit all over this movie, but frankly, it's really old. And I think anybody can look at it objectively and say there are some issues here.
Yeah. You have to be a real completist.
And the dum-dums that name that community college need to have a talking to.
You didn't, was it you were worried you leave that area out and the area would feel bad? Or the people who value it? I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason, but it's like just weird. I get why the area is called that. I get that.
It has significantly milder
No one will ever write a song about it unless they have, and I don't know. But I doubt anyone's like my old isothermal community college home or anything like that.
It just seems weird to me.
I'd like to hear their school song.
Mascot,
Yeah. We are moderately temperate and we fight.
But I did learn something about that area because I had no idea that there was a isothermal area that was warmer than other places around.
No, milder.
Milder, yes.
So
sounds pleasant.
Yeah.
It looked pleasant.
I'm excited for Jason Bateman's return to my brain.
Me too. Young Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
Jay Bates.
Jay Bates.
I had forgotten he was Teen Wolf too.
He's Teen Wolf too.
He's Teen
He
Wolf
coming
too.
off the Hogan family, baby.
Holy shit,
Yeah.
bro.
I think he considers this movie a huge mistake.
Well, yeah.
From what I've gathered listening to Smartless.
Is this the one where the guy showed the penis in the background?
No, that was the first
Oh,
one.
the first one. Okay.
So yeah,
That's
Final
next week.
Exam, not a recommend, but actually a little bit of a recommend. I think if you're a slasher completist,
You like
Yeah.
bad hair?
and you got to see this guy's motherfucking
I do
hair.
think if you go into it after listening to this review and go
Yes.
looking for the things, only if you think we're interesting. I don't want to sound like, oh, you should look for the things we said, but that's like the only reason you should do
Right.
this is what I'm saying is there's no other reason to watch this movie. But if you're like, I want to look for the hair, I want to look for the killer, I want to see what they're saying. That's the only.
Oh, you can see there's a good shot of the guy's hair in IMDb for this.
Amy's trying to
scroll
save
through the pictures. Anyway, what were they doing with men's hair? Why was it so feathered? Why was it so parted?
I don't know. Why was it?
I like to think there's like this deep ridge in his head.
That's what it was.
That's where the hair. That's why it's parted. It just sinks in.
Yeah.
Exposed brain.
Okay,
Well,
so we did it.
we did it.
Mel, get your choice to us. Check your email, Mel. Mel.
At the end of every show, we say hi to our Beelzebubs, patreon.com/NOTLP, if you want to know what that means. Elise.
I'll be seeing you in a few minutes.
I'm going to be seeing a little of you, too, on the Instagram. I'll take a look.
That's right.
Alyssa, Brandon and Emily, Jeffel, Iona Goodwin, Iona Great One, Dr. Brian,
Paging.
Dr. Brian, Ghostface Blah, Bill Farner, Frosted Blakes, Blaine Yogurt, DoorDash Jeans, Paul, Jeremy, Cassie, and Gamora. Paul, Jeremy, and Cassie, we will be seeing you next weekend at Horror Hound Weekend. Ernie, Dave Siebert, Dustin, and Monica.
Monica, last I checked, was in the hospital.
Get well soon, my
Get
dear. I
well.
hope everything's okay.
Yes.
All right, we'll talk to you guys in 1 week.